Welcome to the Nausea River podcast. I'm Theo Morgan, and I apologize for my long hiatus again. And we can blame my boyfriend again, too, and it wasn't even all concerts with him this time. It doesn't take long to get cozy and learn why my parents watch Netflix together every night. Though I'll say I have way better popcorn than them. The secret is a seasoning with very fine salt granules like Szechuan or Lowry's. We've enjoyed a lot together this year, and put a pin in that for next week. But the best part was Mike really gelling with my group of friends. Lots of separate groups, in fact. But it's been really fun introducing him to friends who actively play and record music. We both share that insatiable thirst for new metal, and I can't confirm it, but maybe a taste of Mike's glory days as the fucking Din guy. Many people, of all genders and styles, continue to carry the torch of weird extreme metal when he can't. I can't say which one is currently Mike's favorite, but I do know what he really enjoyed. Anyways, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Jess. I am the singer slash one of the guitarists for the band Gloomlurker.
Meet Jess Loam, guitarist and screamer behind the blackened death doom band Gloomlurker. Not gonna complicate things, I met her at Summer Gloom this year through Tears from a Grieving Heart, and later saw both bands share the bill at Doom and Girl back in September. Standing in the back of Dylan Foley's crowded basement, I couldn't even see what was going on during Gloomlurker's set. Good show, though, and unfortunately, I forgot what their signature hot dog was. I think I went with the North Star the Wanderer glizzy myself. But Mike, my boyfriend, he immediately bought Gloomlurker merch. I haven't. I bought their EP over Bandcamp, but I'm not as crazy about shirts as he can be. And he still wears it, a shirt full of cats under his leather jacket. It's a really sick fit. So, naturally, any band that can feel like an important part of our relationship needs to be an important part of the podcast, too. Glad to have Jess on for this episode, and thank you for reaching out about it. But first, we can't continue without some boring housekeeping. As usual, transphobia is the fastest way to get your comment removed by me, and I'm keeping an eye on comments. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy the show. And how do you describe Gloomlurker?
Oh man, this is always the question that I kind of struggle with. On like Instagram, we kind of just have ourselves as Black and Death Doom or whatever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like even that is still kind of limiting. Um, like we're always trying to like explore and like we don't want to limit ourselves in terms of like what we throw in there. If it works, it works. You know, we might have some moments of some other stuff going on there. Like I just wrote a breakdown for a new song. You know, like I don't know. It's kind of just whatever fits.
Yeah, I noticed the black metal influence. It was more when I re-listened to the EP yesterday.
Hmm.
Like I think in my head, like what I remembered was like all like the death doom sludgy stuff,
Hmm.
and I forgot like, oh, there's like some minor key tremolo picking, isn't there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and my response to that is hell yeah.
That's exactly the response that we want. Yeah.
So the metal archives has been really screwy today, but
I've
like
noticed that.
I
Yeah.
looked on a cached version of your page and you are just black death doom metal and no one seen fit to change that, so I'll roll with it.
Yeah. If that's what's on there, we'll just roll with it.
Nice. And you're the only one on the show today, but who else is in the band?
So we also have Jay Kimball on guitar, Greg Moss on bass, and Connor Dunbar on drums.
So usually I want people to start with the origins of their band, but I'm actually curious what you did before Gloomlurker.
Sure. I guess depending on how far back you want to go, um, I so I went to college near Chicago. I went to Northwestern. When I moved back, I was talking to my buddy PJ from high school, um, who is cousins with KZ from Dreamwell. And we started like another sludgy band called Lymphoma Twins. Um, that lasted for God, maybe like 2-ish years. Um, we played a few shows. We put out a record and a single, but it didn't seem like that band had the momentum really to kind of keep going. So it kind of just dissolved. Um, Seemingly all for the better now because KZ is, now in Dreamwell. PJ has owns a barber shop now, so um, it seems like Lymphoma Twins kind of served its purpose, and now like everyone's off to greener pastures. Um, After that, I kind of struggled to like find a consistent project for a while until I joined what would become uh, like a hardcore band called Ghost Planet. Um, that also lasted for about 2-ish years um, before it just ended up dissolving, had kind of just like run its course. Um, and at that point, when Ghost Planet fell apart, I wasn't really sure if I was going to be in another band, um, just because having like back-to-back projects that kind of lived short-ish lives really got to me. Um, and so like I was kind of just like considering, like giving up on music altogether. Um, but thankfully my wife kind of helped convince me to not give up on it. So originally I started writing for Gloomlurker as like a solo project. Um, just kind of like something that I would just do for fun to kind of like fill that space of like having some sort of creative outlet. Um, but eventually like I talked to Connor, who I'd known for a bit at that point. Um, Kind of like asking him like, hey, would you like maybe be down to record drums for this project like once I'm done recording it or done writing it. Um, he was down. We started, going over stuff in person, and then eventually it kind of became like, okay, this needs to become like an actual thing beyond just like living in my bedroom. Um, so yeah, it kind of took on its own life from there. Like it kind of felt like it needed to be its own thing.
So fast forwarding, you put out an EP this year and a live album.
Mhm.
How's the response been?
Um, Way better than I ever anticipated. Um, I know it's not really like a true benchmark, but I was actually looking at our Bandcamp earlier today, and we have 4 rows of supporters on the
Wait, no,
EP.
that's actually really cool.
No, exactly. Like I've never had more than one on any project that I've ever put out. So to have that many people that paid actual real life money for something that I even had some small part in is amazing to me. Um, and yeah, just like the response to everything has been way beyond anything that I could ever hope for. Um, and I'm extremely thankful for that. It's still crazy to me. It's still hard for me to kind of like wrap my head around that.
And how many of those cat t-shirts did you sell? Sorry, it's one of my favorites that Mike ever got, and I'm kicking myself for not getting one too.
Oh man, so that's actually the second cat t-shirt that we had. I don't remember if you saw the first one that we put
No,
out.
I didn't.
So that was back when I just had one kitty, Elvira. Um, it was just her, and the caption under it said death to false metal." Um, I think we only did like a run of 25 on that one, but it sold out like almost immediately because everyone, of course, wanted a cat shirt.
Hmm.
Um, I think we still have maybe 15 of this new one left. But I think that's partially just because like we didn't get them until I think sometime during the summer, and we only played a few shows after that. So I have a feeling they're probably going to sell out like once we start playing again in 2026.
Yep, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Um, did make me think like so I like cats. I have many friends with cats who I love dearly,
Hmm.
but I always feel like I'm kind of in the minority being a metalhead who's a dog person, even if it's like the most cat-like dog I could find. Um, it made me wonder like why does it seem that like so many metalheads and it seems like the more tough and manly they get, even in this like girl to girl chat, like the more tough and manly you are, the more you seem to really melt at cats.
So it's such a weird thing because up until I got my cats, I thought I was exclusively a dog person. Like I only ever had dogs growing up. And I still love dogs, of course. Um, but I think the appeal with cats is specifically their attitude, like the fact that they do not give a fuck about you whatsoever. Um, kind of just like lends itself to that whole like aesthetic of like, most metalheads who are like dark and brooding and like there's that sense of evil to it and whatnot. And I think cats just kind of like match that energy like wholesale. So I think they just like kind of lend to each like they just go well together, I think.
Yeah, it just kind of like it reminds me of Fenris from Dark Throne trying to throttle his town election, his mandatory town election in Norway by holding his cat in a picture and saying, "Don't vote for me." And
Yep.
of course, everyone was charmed by it. And I mean, everyone loves Fenris, but
Yeah,
I think that I think that's like one of the big things that's helped soften his image a lot in
definitely. I
recent
mean,
years. That and that whole
yeah.
screen grab from Until the Light Takes Us, where he's like, "Hey, it's Fenris. Are you having a good Friday?"
Yeah, I think like every single clip that I've seen of Fenris is just like him being like a silly, goofy guy, which is all that you want, right? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just great energy.
Yeah, and like probably like the best case scenario for coming out of the Norwegian black metal scene.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, we all know how like what the other side of that spectrum is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think there are going to be quite a few quips I steal from the boyfriend in this, but he's noted that like none of those guys are particularly admirable. They all have
Yeah.
terrible centrist politics, but terrible centrist politics are the best you're gonna get.
Yep. That's yeah, you said it.
Anyways, so you're gonna get a lot of I have like two questions about your lyrics. The first is
Yeah.
from me. You posted a story, let's say, I think like a week ago,
Okay.
about not having been much of a lyricist before Gloomlurker.
Hmm.
So my first question is, did you have writer instincts before then?
Not really. It's funny. I was kind of talking about this a little bit yesterday. Like English class was always one of my least favorite subjects in school. Like I hated writing essays or like anything that I needed to like come up with words in my head and put them down to paper. Like it never came naturally to me. Um, and it was always something I struggled with and would put off until the last minute. Um, I don't know what's been going on lately. I think maybe it's just like the practice of it is like getting me a little more used to that process. Um, but yeah, I really don't know like where it's coming from, really.
So is there a lyric you're particularly proud of, especially among like stuff that's already been released?
Ooh, for stuff that's already been released, ooh, that's tough. I've always been one of those people that like will look back on like anything I've put out and like cringe a little bit. But I think that's partially just because like, you know, lyrics especially can be like super personal. Um, and to have it out there in such a permanent sense, like is tough. I've never been one to like be especially good with like finding the right words to say something. Um, but I'm trying to think of like if there's like a particular lyric that like people have really connected to. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's like a whole lyric per se, but like you could probably take your pick from anything from Night Warden. And I think like I would say like that whole song is something that like probably the lyrics that I'm most proud of so far.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see like a lot of different ways to interpret that song, and
Hmm.
one maybe very obvious way.
Yeah, that's always the trouble is like because I think yeah, two out of the three songs are metaphors for other stuff. And like I never really know how obvious or not those metaphors are. Um, but I think yeah, especially with Night Warden, like that one in particular is like pretty trans heavy. So I think that one's just like, a lot more personal than the rest. And so I kind of connect with that one a little more.
I think that's really cool. And more technically, like what does it take to write in rhythm or in meter? Because like I have a background in writing, but my big hole is that not a poet, not a lyricist.
Hmm.
And I've just it's always been mystifying to me, like what even like I had to have someone sit me down in my 20s and tell me what iambic pentameter was. Because
Oh
like
yeah.
of all the Shakespeare, like I read plenty of Shakespeare in high school. For some reason, no teacher emphasized reading that in meter. I guess
Yep.
you can emphasize wherever the hell you wanted.
Yep.
Um, but like, do you have any insight on that? On right, like, is it like a whole other skill to develop?
I mean, it's definitely one that for me has taken some practice. I think for me, I tend to focus more on uh the vocal rhythm first. Because I think especially for this style of music, like most folks are probably not going to understand the lyrics right off the bat. Um, Especially in a live setting where a lot of venues like PAs are absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Um, so I think having the rhythm first to kind of like match whatever else is going on with the instrumentals has been my primary focus. Um, and then once I kind of have like a general idea of like, okay, here's kind of the pattern I want to go with, then I'll try to like find certain words that will kind of coincide with that.
Okay. And my next question, it's from Mike because it has to do with something I have no experience in.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, everything is just a reference to Skyrim because he knows that Gloomlurker was, and he noticed that Hjalmark was. And I'm
Yep.
like, cool. I have no idea what any of that means. But what he's wondering is, one, how did Skyrim influence you? And I guess make that as outsider friendly as possible.
Yep. So Connor was actually the one that came up with the name. I'm trying to remember if we were just like joking about making a Skyrim band and he like remembered the name Gloomworker and we were like, oh wait, that's actually a pretty good name. Um, but yeah, with Y'all March particularly like that one's a little more in reference to the lyrics, dealing with like swamps and whatnot. Like that's the name of a certain area within the world of Skyrim that is very like swampy, marshy kind of. So that one's a little more literal there. But I think sorry, I don't know if you can hear my cat screaming for
I don't
food.
know if you can hear the dogs.
Oh, I can't hear the dogs. Okay.
So yeah, Zoom's actually really good with
Okay.
filtering out sound.
Nice. Okay. All right. Um where oh yeah. But yeah, the world of Skyrim itself is just like, it's dark, it's cold. It's set like in the northernmost like province of this country. And so like, it's a lot of mountains and snow, things that lend itself extremely well to metal in general. Um, so yeah, it kind of just like ended up being a pretty good fit overall. Like, yeah, I think once Connor picked out the name, we kind of just like took the whole Skyrim thing and like ran with it.
Two follow-up questions to that. One, are there any other video games that have artistically influenced you?
Uh, yeah, I mean, right off the bat, Night Warden is a reference to Baldur's Gate 3, um, specifically the character Minthara, um, which is actually the working title originally for that song. Um, So I think Baldur's Gate is definitely a big one. Um, I think so far those are the only two video games that have been influences for the band. Like, TBH, like I really have not been like following like video games all that often. I would say I'm an extremely casual gamer.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. Maybe actually, you know what? As I say, I was about to say like as I discover more games, a friend of mine gave me the Dark Souls trilogy to play through. So as I continue to struggle my way through that, that'll probably end up being in at least one other Gloomlurker song down the line.
Yeah, that's like Dark Souls is truly like blackened doom metal, the video game.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've talked about Dark Souls, at least my limited knowledge of it, with Mike from Tears quite a bit. So
Yes, I was gonna wonder. I was expecting you to say a friend of mine gave me Bloodborne. I would have just said, oh, Mike did.
Mike, yep.
Mike from Tears, not to be confused with every other Mike in my life.
Every other Mike in the Boston music scene, yeah.
Yeah. Because they spent like 5 minutes when I interviewed Tears, like talking about Bloodborne.
I would expect nothing less.
And speaking of like FromSoft games, just like we'll call like metal adjacent games, stuff that like there's no actual connection to the metal scene, but I feel like every metalhead I know has played it. Like I'm kind of a rarity because like I like video games. I have very surface level dog shit tastes. But everyone else, like, it makes me think, why are metalheads so nerdy? Because my thought of like, think of the dorkiest band you've heard, and like Iron Maiden's actually up there.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are dweebs.
I think metal is a very nerdy, geeky genre. You know, like I mean, the OGs were talking about like Lord of the Rings before it was like
Mhm.
as cool as it is today. Like it's
Yeah,
it's it's in the like metal history.
yeah.
Like it just
Not to interrupt, the Lord of the Rings thing. I think it's a bit underestimated how popular it was, like in growing up in the 60s and 70s. Because like my dad, uh, truly the average younger boomer. Like he grew up like reading Lord of the Rings. He loved those books.
yeah.
I think it had always been like the quintessential fantasy series, but there wasn't as big of a market for the quintessential fantasy series. So you also have an ambient project.
I do. Yeah.
And like I will occasionally if someone references something I'm not aware of, I'll just Google it like while you're talking
Yeah.
on the other screen. And I had no idea that Lolth was like some Baldur's Gate thing. I thought it was just a
Yep.
play on your name.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. No, yeah. Uh, yeah, it is also another Baldur's Gate reference. That was also a semi-recent change. That project was originally named Chroma, but then after I'd already released, whatever projects I put out under that name, I realized that there were way too many other projects with that exact same name. So I was like, okay, I need something a little more
And were
unique
they
this
all in
time
this
around.
were they all in the same genre?
No, they were like
Oh.
so many like indie bands. Like I think there was like one like indie funk like DJ that like used that name. It was a mess.
Yeah, it does feel a bit more like an intelligent dance music name.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I've never thought about like should like bands sharing names that much. This was until my boyfriend was talking about his old black metal band Din, and he's like, there was another Din from New York, and like it actually like pissed him off because he's like they're also atmospheric black metal, and it's just like no,
Uh
you can't steal that.
yeah,
We were here
that's tough.
first.
Yeah. Like yeah, that's frustrating. Like not even like same genre, but also like physical proximity is like
Yeah. It also it was kind of physical proximity. Yeah, they're from New York. Like you could have been at the same festival.
right, exactly. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
someone from
so
Connecticut could have been like yeah, I'm gonna try to book in, and then it's like, okay, is it the one from Massachusetts or New
Yeah.
York? And it's just like needlessly confusing.
Yeah. So like I never like sat down and thought like, oh, is this like trademarking where like you can apply it to your industry, but not like to anyone uttering the word.
Right, yeah.
But could I did not listen to any of your ambient music, so could you explain a little more about it?
Sure. Um, it started off as a like instrumental post-rock thing. Um, Originally it was just because like I had never put out a solo project whatsoever where I like did the whole thing by myself, like writing the music and performing it and recording and mixing and whatever. Um, this was also during like the early days of like me trying to become an audio engineer. So it was also a way to kind of get like something under my belt to show people like, hey, yeah, like this is something that I worked on so that you know like what kind of sound that I'm going for. Um, so it was is a bit multi-purposed. Um, but since then it's gotten a lot more noisier and dark. Um, Especially nowadays. That's kind of why I also like changed the name to Lolth, because I just felt like that kind of reflected what I was going for a little better. Um, Now it's kind of just like a very casual, like whenever I'm feeling like it sort of project. Um, I don't really have like a specific goal for it in mind. It's kind of just one of those things of like, I kind of just want to make something like that I can vibe out to, um, whether it's more on the ambient side or the noisier side. Um, and it really is just like a I'm just having fun with it kind of thing. Um,
Hmm.
like I I'm sure like every other person that like performs music can relate to this, but just like the fun of twisting knobs and like messing around with different pedal combinations and doing weird shit with guitars and whatever else I can get my hands on. Um, and just like having fun with making something, you know? Um, yeah, it's a very, very casual thing for me.
So what's the big difference between doing something solo like that and working with a band?
I think with Lolth, it's a lot easier to make something in a day if I wanted to and just like throw it out on the internet and just like call it a day and be like satisfied with that versus with Gloomlurker, it's much more of a collaborative effort. Not even just within the band, but also like, you know, putting shows together and like meeting people and going out to venues and like exploring new places. Like I feel like with Gloomworker, that's much more of an exploratory project, versus with Loth, it's kind of just like a not to say it's like a whatever thing because I do still kind of care about it, um, but I feel like with Gloomworker, like we're really trying to like do something with that, you know?
Cool. So this one's a silly question. I want you to name your favorite doom metal band and your favorite death metal band that you think the audience might not be aware of.
Okay, doom metal band. I got you right off the bat. There's this band from Chicago called Buried at Sea, um, that I only ever see referenced online like every now and then. But they are the heaviest goddamn band on the face of the fucking planet. Um, like we're talking like primitive man level, you know. Um, they unfortunately, I don't even know if they perform anymore. They haven't put out a record in at least 10 years. Uh, but the stuff that they do have like holds up incredibly well. Um, they are like when we were having the EP like recorded and mixed, like their album Migration was like my reference of like I want to sound exactly like this. Like please make me sound as much like this band as possible. Um in terms of death metal, that's a tricky one. Yeah, that's a tough one because death metal as a whole is kind of like a genre that I fell out of love with a few years back. Um, like maybe like 2014. I kind of just stopped
Mhm.
listening to it because I felt like every band sounded exactly the same, and so I just got bored with it. And that's when I kind of moved over to Doom. Ironic, I know. um, but I also started smoking a lot of weed back then, so that's kind of the natural progression there. Um, but death metal, death metal. God damn it, why am I blanking?
It's weird because like most death metal fans are never big potheads too.
I know. Yeah, I realized that a little too late, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I don't know if it's just like the riffs are stupid enough.
yeah, I mean, no, that makes total sense,
Even
especially
though there's
now with
like
like,
plenty of intelligent death metal.
oh,
But
definitely,
like,
yeah,
at its core, death metal can be pretty dumb.
yeah,
It pairs very well with doom metal for a reason.
yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I don't know if I have a death metal band that like people wouldn't have heard of because I feel like my favorites are kind of the basics. Like I kind of stick with, death, suffocation.
Hmm.
I do listen to a lot of spectral voice as well. Um, like I guess that's kind of the closest thing. Like a lot of people listen to Blood Incantation, but not a lot of people know about spectral voice as much, I feel like.
I agree. So that's actually a great pick.
There we go.
I,
Okay.
I want I want more people to listen to Spectral Voice and to stop and for my mind to stop confusing it with Spectral Wound half the time. I'm part of the problem.
No, I literally had to like pause for like half a second in my brain to make sure I did not say spectral wound. So
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
that tour would go pretty hard though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking speaking of death metal, I know there are upcoming Gloomlurker shows, and I can say that one
Yep.
of them, you're one at O'Brien's on February 8th.
Yep.
You're on the bill with Hexrot, who are one of my favorite local death metal bands.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't checked them out yet. I am really bad about checking out the bands ahead of time, slash I kind of prefer waiting until I can
yeah.
hear them live to check them out. But uh yeah, I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, they were on the podcast some months ago. Very nice guys. All I can say is like they're like they're literally like screamo mathcore guys who decided to make a death metal album.
Fuck
And
yeah.
it's an interesting it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
And also like it was one of my their album this year is also one of my favorites. So
Ooh,
it is
okay.
actually very good music. It is actually very good music, but the premise there's at least there's at least an interesting premise to it. Tell a mathcore guy to make gore guts.
Hell yeah. Okay. Let me add that release to my like to listen to list then.
Yeah. But um you're definitely excited for the shows coming up
Oh,
and good and
absolutely.
definitely and say a bit about them.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one we have coming up will be January 23rd at Moonbase 1 in Salem. That one is us, Slow Quit, and Monolithic Dome. Um, which I don't want to say I'm not excited for the three of them because I very much am so, but I think of the three, that's the one I'm most excited for. Partially because I personally booked that show. Um, like, so excited to play with Slow Quit. I love them. Excited to play with Monolithic Dome. Love them. They're fucking heavy as shit. Um, and especially to play with two bands that were on the most recent iteration of Summer Gloom is also going to be a lot of fun. Uh, Second show, uh, February 8th, like we were just talking about, O'Brien's. Uh, love a good O'Brien show. That one especially on a Sunday.
Hmm.
So, weekend show, like love that already. Um, but like the other bands like Agent by Misery, like really excited to see those guys.
Hmm.
Um, And then the third show back in Salem, I want to say that's February 20th,
Mhm.
with Rosaria, Ingrate, and Epicenter. Uh, Again, another banging lineup uh, at Kodo, which who doesn't love playing at a sushi bar, you know? Um, like, yeah, just all around great shows that I'm like super duper excited for.
So speaking of Kodo, have you ever, did you ever go to the Lowell location before it closed?
Yes, we played one show there last year, or sorry,
Okay.
this year. Yeah. It was an interesting time. It was just after they announced that they were closing their kitchen. Um, so we could already kind of see the signs of it like not lasting that long, especially after like the like also short-lived Kodo in Providence. We're like,
Oh,
okay,
I
so
didn't
this
know I didn't know about that
yeah,
one.
no one fucking knows that they opened one in Providence that lasted, I think, like 6 months. Um, I had also played there with I think yeah, with Glacier actually. Uh Way back in the day.
Well, that's
So
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, because I wanted some opinions because like I liked Coda Lowell. I was also getting a bad feeling when the kitchen closed because it's not far enough away from Salem where you'd think, oh, I'm gonna like I'd want a sushi roll, but Lowell is a lot closer. You might think like I'm driving the extra 40 minutes for a sushi roll. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of see the reasoning because it's like another hub of like, local music, which
Hmm.
maybe that's their reasoning as to like where they're opening up these places. But I think ultimately kind of what, the Salem location is like, I mean, obviously I don't know like what's actually happening, but I have a feeling
Hmm.
that what's actually like helping prop it up is the actual restaurant business.
Hmm.
And so if you lose that, you're just a music venue, which is like, yes, having a restaurant is extremely hard, and having a music venue is also extremely hard. Uh, but if you're just doing one of those, like you need to go like all out for it, and
Hmm.
it just seemed like they weren't doing that with the Kodo Lowell location.
Yeah. It was also I only had been like the first floor, not like the upstairs.
Same.
But the first floor, like it's set up like a bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not the most it wasn't the most conducive to viewing the music. And like the sale location actually like squares that circle really well because they can clear out some tables and there's a
Yep.
nice line of sight viewing area. You can still scurry off to the side and
Yep.
get your mango soda mocktail,
Oh yeah.
um, and your and your sushi roll.
Yeah. That Kodo Lowell location like had that weird like the seating was surrounding the bar area, so that meant
Hmm.
like if the bar was full, half the audience was facing like had their backs turned to you.
Yeah.
Um, but also like I don't think I ever actually saw that. I mean, the one time I was there, like there were maybe like a handful of people there. So like,
I mean like if you're playing at a restaurant, you're probably not getting the biggest crowd on earth.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an interesting place for sure. I do wish it had stayed open.
Hmm.
Like
Oh, I do too.
that would have been nice. But um, sadly, I don't think there's a whole lot lost by it not existing anymore.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling because like the people behind the shows there, like they were wonderful. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
they're putting in 110% to make it work.
definitely. Yeah, and
And if any of them stumble upon this, that's my final opinion. You like as talent buyers, A plus.
yeah, thumbs up, two thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any like future music on the horizon?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, we'd already started playing one new song live that we debuted at Doom and Grill this past
Okay.
year. Um, lyrics are now finally finished for that song, so I can actually say something along to it. Um,
Was it just like was it like un was it like placeholder stuff or just maybe a touch of mindless screaming? Because because my I really liked your set Doom and Grill, but there was one caveat. I could not see any of you.
that was
I
a
was
tough
like,
place. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it was thick.
it was I was shocked at how many people were there. That was my first time at any of the Doom and Grill, so like I had no idea what to expect. But, for it didn't even feel like to say it was just a house show feels like I'm like minimizing it because like it went well beyond that.
Yeah, I think some of it is that Bang Space is a very professional setup for a basement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like
That
they have all the noise dampening blankets on the ceiling.
yep. Yeah. And then also like for that performance as well, like having dregs there as well, just like amped it up a notch as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's a very psychedelic space.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it was just like the perfect like ambiance to that day. Like it was amazing.
Yeah, and they have a good backyard there too.
Yeah, a lot of
Like
space.
a lot of space to just socialize.
Yes. And like the fact they were so considerate with like having a tent set up, which was
hmm
good foresight, especially with the rain that came
hmm
later on. Um, yeah, just like 10 out of 10 like experience like performing there. It's incredible.
In terms of like basement shows, have you been to one that's the opposite of that? Like have you performed at any that were complete disasters?
Uh, ooh. I don't think I've ever played like a basement show that was a disaster, thankfully, but like the weirdest one uh was this place in Providence that I am blanking on the name of. I'm pretty sure it's like long defunct by this
hmm
point, but it was like I mean obviously extremely dingy. Uh the like upstairs area was like the socializing area. Um and there was like literal rat shit everywhere. Um like minimal furniture to sit on. It was just like an all around like very weird experience.
The minimal furniture thing, that seems like the most unsettling because like not like rat shit is great and like you can get diseases if you're not careful, but that's also just Alston.
That's also a good
But
point,
I,
yeah.
I I will say like everyone I've known in Alston has a fucking couch.
Yeah, exactly. Like to be fair, I think there were couches, but like I think there were like two and then just like a bunch of folding chairs in the kitchen.
In
Uh
the kitchen.
yeah, exactly. It was so bizarre. And like everyone outside was like eating from a jar of like uh communion wafers. Yeah, it was the most bizarre show I think I've ever played in my life.
I don't know. There's something kind of doom metal about that. I can't lie.
Yeah. The thing is, this was like mostly like a hardcore show. This was back when I was in Lymphoma Twins, so like that band had a little more of like a hardcore edge to it. So we would get booked on a lot of like punk shows. Um, I want to say this show was with Iron Gag and oh my god, who are I don't remember the other bands, but it was definitely more of like a hardcore leaning show.
Yeah. And the thing with communion wafers is like they're not even cheap.
Are they not?
So like I'm actually just like I'm just sitting here trying to look for like a good church supply company. My mom used to get
Hmm.
catalogs from one, and you
Oh.
could just order, obviously unconsecrated communion wafers, because at that point, like even to Catholics, it's just a shitty cracker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, but like from what I've seen, like a box of like 500 is like $10, but those things are not those are very small.
Oh yeah, they're tiny, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like so at that point, like you're not I don't think it's particularly more economical than like getting a box of saltines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like literally no purpose unless you're using them for like, I don't know, maybe breadcrumbs,
No,
maybe.
that would still be really bad because they're not salted. Like
Right.
that's people. I do a lot of baking. People underestimate how important salt in bread is because when I forget it, it tastes awful.
Oh, I'm aware. I've tried my hand at making bread a few times. Like I was one of those like I tried making sourdough during lockdown and all that.
Yeah,
Uh
literally, my starter died 2 weeks ago.
I am so
My fridge
sorry.
broke. I mean, I don't know if it necessarily died, but I was not trusting any. Like my fridge broke while I was away. So
Damn.
everything was already starting to smell kind of funky in there. So I was trusting nothing, including my starter. So now
Oh,
I have to do the whole thing again.
I'm so sorry. That sucks.
Yeah. So that, but yeah, you need like, and there's no leavening to communion wafers either. So you don't get the same crumb consistency.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so communion wafers are just good for nothing.
They're good for church. They're good for giving your whole parish communion.
Yep, that's about it.
Yeah, I think like people make jokes about like the Jesus, but but like past the meme, it's like they're just not particularly good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like if any genre was to keep a bunch around, it would be black metal to pretend that you are like desecrating the body of Christ, but you also will not get sued up the ass.
Yeah, but then even then, like unless you're stealing them from somewhere, you're also directly contributing to the church, which isn't
Exactly.
typical to black metal. So,
Yeah. Yeah, or it'd be like that. It would be like that burger place in Chicago that got into trouble for having an unconsecrated communion wafer on a
Oh,
burger.
Kuma's, yep.
Yeah,
I,
fucking
I
Kumas. I
I did not
wanted,
have a chance to try that burger,
I want.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not in Chicago, but it was back when I ate meat, and I'd be like, I'm like, controversy aside, the flavor sounded really good.
Yeah.
It was like a red wine reduction.
Was that there? I'm trying to remember because I know they
It
like
was the Ghost Burger.
yes, okay, that's
Back
what I
when
was gonna
Ghost had
say.
a little more bite to them.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
never
long
really
ago this
bought
was.
I never really bothered with them because the whole like thing just like never really like got me. But like I could at least respect like that burger like going full in on the whole like communion thing.
Yeah. Like it's limited to churches and like stunts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure like maybe movies and like there's probably been a movie set that's bought them for a church scene.
Oh yeah, that's also true. Yeah,
Yeah, something. But yeah, limited use case. I don't know what it's an interesting visual.
yeah.
Um, so back when you were in Chicago, were you in their music scene that much at all?
Not a whole lot. Um, Especially like when I was because I was in school for 5 years and then I stayed an extra year, uh,
Okay.
hoping to like get a job in the music industry in Chicago, but that didn't pan
Yeah.
out.
I also
Um,
think I also think I may have misinterpreted your college time in Chicago as you being from Chicago, or at least Illinois.
oh no, I'm from Massachusetts. I
Oh,
only went there for
dang.
college. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was in one band for like a hot minute though. My partner at the time was in like a like semi-punk band. Um, and when their drummer left, I somehow ended up being their drummer for like a show. Actually, two shows. Yeah, because one was at an actual venue, the second one was at a basement show. Um, so there was a little bit going on there. Like I did meet a few people, some of which I actually still talk to this day. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get like too deep in like the Chicago music scene during my time there.
Okay. So on that note, what's your favorite thing about this local music scene?
Uh, the fact that everyone cares so much about it. Like there's a real sense of pride about the Boston music scene. Like not even just about like, you know, the like quote unquote bread and butter like hardcore
Mm-hmm.
folks, but like especially the like the doomier people that I've met. I mean, the fact that summer gloom is a thing
Yeah.
speaks volumes, I think, to like how much people care about uh the doomier stuff in this area.
Yeah,
Um,
because the turnout this year was insane. It felt way less, it felt way more sparse last year. But
oh,
it was,
I didn't go last year, so yeah.
yeah, I did. And like, I say it felt sparse, but it's also like, yeah, do I can't believe the doom metal show was maybe not the best attended event that summer.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but uh I mean this year, yeah, like you said, was banging. And I think was like a really good example of like how much people care about uh the music scene in the area.
hmm
It's just like everyone feels really, really passionate about what they're doing here.
Yeah, and I've also found that like I talk to anyone who will come on the show, but there's something about the doom metal people. They're so like maybe contrary to the music, so fucking funny and friendly.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
that.
yeah, yeah, you kind of need both halves to be a healthy human, right? Like
Mhm,
you can't just be because like if you're an asshole and talking about like death and like misery and shit, you're just gonna be like an awful person that no one's gonna want to hang out with.
mhm.
Um, so like, you know, being nice, who'd have thunk is like the way to like meet new people and like make friends, you know?
I think you're right. Um, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts? I mean, thank you for having me on the show. Like thank you for giving people in like the music scene like a chance to talk a little bit about like what we do behind the scenes that a lot of people might not know about, so thank you.
Uh, um, I should have asked this one earlier.
Okay.
What are the names of your current cats?
Okay. Ooh, are they nearby? No. Okay. It's dinner time for them. uh my black cat, my oldest baby, her name is Elvira,
hmm
named after, of course, the famous TV and movie star.
hmm
Uh, my second baby is named Chavela, and she's named after a famous lesbian mariachi singer from Mexico.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was my wife. Well, both names were my wife's pick, but you know, both names are great. So
I don't know. I think I think those are wonderful. Mine are Churro, who Churro was the one I picked up.
cute.
Tater is my older one. He's either too polite or too old to get up here. I'm not sure.
Oh, how old is he?
He's like 12 or 13.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not
getting there.
quite sure. He's an adult rescue with no background, so we've had to
Gotcha.
do our best estimates. But he's like Chihuahua 12 is like Big Dog 9.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just like it's quite a jump for either of them. They're
Hmm.
not quite cats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
like
God.
I know. Yeah, my parents had a cat when I was growing up, and he just like easily got on top of the fridge. And like, yeah, as a 5-year-old, I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I
Same.
can't see it. I can't see on top of the fridge.
Yeah, yeah. The cat's jumping everywhere. Elvira's not much of a jumper, thank God. But Javela will. She's barely one, so she's still a baby, and she is still in like full on exploring every nook and cranny in this place possible. But
That's the teenage stage for like any domesticated animal, it seems.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like they say your dog is fully grown. Like they allow dogs to reach their growth plateau before 1 year, and it
Hmm.
takes them like 3 years to mature.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting. 6 years later, I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah, we'll see if Chavella ever matures. I have a feeling it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you, Theo.
Once again, thanks to Jess for coming on the podcast. Like, you can buy Gloomlurker's Terror Absolute EP for as little as $1, though I think I gave them $5. I tend not to rank EPs each year, but I try to have a running list of what I like. And, I don't know, this is somewhere respectable. Let's say Gloomlurker got a prize spot between Crypt Sermon and Mulamari. It doesn't sound like something I made up, right? Anyways, I'm Theo Morgan, trans rights are human rights, and have a good night.